Hi foodies! This week on Foodie on a Budget is pretty magical because you're a wizard, Harry!
We're gonna explore the magical land of Harry Potter and we're gonna do some Harry Potter drinks for you all. Alright, so for pumpkin juice, we're going to get all of our ingredients ready. And so I have a teaspoon of pumpkin pie spice. If you don't have pumpkin pie spice, it's made up of ground cinnamon, ground ginger, ground nutmeg, ground allspice, and ground clove. So if you don't have it, you can make some with those spices that you already have, or just use a little bit of cinnamon and nutmeg. And then I have a tablespoon of maple syrup. You could also use a simple syrup or some sugar if you want a sweetener, or leave it out. The apple juice is sweet on its own, but the maple syrup will sweeten it a little bit extra and add a little bit of flavor.
And for the main ingredient, we have pumpkin puree. Since we are all going through our cans at this time, you might find a surprise can of pumpkin puree. This pumpkin puree we actually homemade earlier, but we did not homemake this liter of apple juice.
It's great to do things when they're in season. Freeze things and prepare things so that you have them. Things that are prepared when they're in season taste a lot better.
And are a lot cheaper.
So you're going to just mix all of your ingredients together. I tried this cold and I preferred it warm. So you can do it, you can have it cold or you can warm it up like I did. So you'll just pour it into a pot on the stove and gently warm it up. Make sure you mix every once in a while so that whenever we're cooking, you want to make sure you taste to make sure that you like what you're cooking. Then you can make adjustments. Alright, so that was pumpkin juice. Classic Harry Potter drink. And now we're going to make butterbeer. Alright, so for butterbeer, we're going to have a cup of brown sugar, 2 tablespoons of water, 6 tablespoons of butter, a half teaspoon of salt, a half teaspoon of apple cider vinegar, and a quarter cup of heavy cream. We're actually going to have more for later, but in this part we're going to use a quarter cup. And then you can add in vanilla extract. Alright, so you're going to add the brown sugar to your pan and the water, and you're going to bring that up on medium heat. You're going to stir your sugar and your water. And use a candy thermometer until your mixture reads 240 degrees. So whenever you're working with sugar, any crystals that form on the side, you can brush them down. You're going to want to make sure you're stirring as you go so that it doesn't burn on the bottom. Alright, so as it's stirring and bubbling up, you'll just keep making sure you check the temperature. And then once it reaches 240, you're going to add your butter, salt, vinegar, and a quarter cup of heavy whipping cream. So we'll just watch that.
And I want to emphasize using extreme caution as boiling sugar can be pretty dangerous if it spills or gets on you. There's always a little danger in the wizarding world.
So basically you're making a caramel here. Having sugar and butter and cream is the base of a caramel. So we're going to add in our butter and let that melt.
All good recipes have a stick of butter.
Or close to it. That's 6 tablespoons of butter there.
Julia Childs approved.
I was just holding it off the heat there because a coil will keep its heat for longer than a fire burner. And so I just didn't want it to continue heating while I mix that in. But it had enough time that it cooled down. So then I'm going to add my cider vinegar, salt, and a quarter cup of cream and mix those in. And then you're going to want to let it cool down before you add your vanilla extract. If you had a rum extract, you could use this instead. Or if you had a butter extract, you could add a little bit.
Look at that beautiful caramel color.
Yeah.
This is also just a good topping for ice cream or having caramel in general.
Alright, so this is totally optional, but I decided to make some whipped cream with marshmallow fluff to add on top. Adds a little bit of an extra fun flair. So you're going to have a cup of whipping cream and add it to a mixer. If you don't have a stand mixer, this is a great job for your kids or a great workout. So you're just going to let that whisk up until you have soft peaks. And then you'll get to add your marshmallow fluff. If you don't have marshmallow fluff, you can add a little bit of sugar and vanilla extract at the same point.
This is also a good time if you wanted even to go further into the Harry Potter lore of coloring it the 4 different colors of the houses, coloring green, yellow, blue, and red, and then kind of covering the tops to see what people pick for their house.
So soft peak stage is when it's whipped up and fluffy, but it's not a stiff peak. A stiff peak is when it will hold its shape when you turn the bowl over. So when it's at that soft peak and can move a little bit, but not too much, you can add your marshmallow fluff. I added 3.5 ounces, which is about half of this container. And then I just whisked that together, and that sweetens your whipped cream and adds some marshmallow flavor.
And splashes the countertop.
Yeah, don't turn your stand mixer on too high speed. I did like the flavor of this whipped cream. I might use this for other desserts that use whipped cream.
Or drinks.
All right, so now you have your caramel, you have your marshmallow whipped cream fluff, and some chilled cream soda. So you're gonna add a couple tablespoons to your glass. I just kind of eyeballed it, but you can add however much you want, and make sure you taste them and see if you like the ratio of how much caramel you're adding. So start by adding a little bit of the cream soda so that you can mix in your caramel.
We are not sponsored by Super Chill.
Kind of any brand works just fine. And then I poured in a little bit, and then you can mix it. It's called tempering, when you mix it a little bit and then you can add the rest of it and it'll mix easier. So
And this makes it so you can still have the bubbles without mixing out the bubbles.
So then you can fill the rest of your glass with your cream soda, and then you can top with a couple tablespoons of your marshmallow fluff.
Create this magical drinks for your friends or yourself. Right now we kind of all feel like we live underneath the stairs. An option for this is adding a shot of spiced rum, as that has some nice spices that it adds to the mix. If you do not have spiced rum available, Tuaca is a vanilla flavor that would work well. Or if nothing else, just straight up rum to make this a little more adult butterbeer.
Alright, there you go. There's some butterbeer. So that was butterbeer and pumpkin juice. Hope you guys give them a try as you listen to your audiobooks while you're at home.
Have a great day. Please like and subscribe. See ya next week. Let's try this again.
Hello.
Hello.
Onions. Weird word like bowl.